I've gone ahead and just added one final element to the breakdown section of our track. It's just a little reverse crash symbol that I grabbed from the library. One shot, reverse crash, took the first thing I could find. And I just brought it in because I think it helps to connect the two parts of the breakdown before we go into the stutter effect stuff. So here it is. Normally I'd spend a lot more time with that sound. I might find something that's a little bit longer, use some more filter automation, etc. But for our purposes, it's good enough. All right, so we have that breakdown done, and now we're ready to add something new after we come out of that. So at bar 25, and I think what we'll go ahead and add is a bass line of sorts, and we're going to use this instrument, which they just aptly call Bassline. It's supposed to look like the now very famous 303 bass instrument synthesizer that was first released by Roland and then became a cult classic, and now you really can't buy them. They're just way too expensive, and they really only do one thing. So unless you're like a real purist from that era, most people aren't going out of their ways to try and like pick them up. They're not really a bedroom producer instrument anymore. So I'm going to take the output of this, run into the third part here of our mini mixer. And off the bat, if I click play, we're just going to get some kind of default pattern that's in here, which isn't going to work well at all because it has no knowledge of what sort of key we're in and what's going to fit this track. So first thing I'm going to do is just go in here, and I'm going to go ahead and reset this preset. It should clear everything out. If it doesn't clear everything out, you can actually go in and just choose pattern clear. So I've clicked that a few times also. And we're going to go in here. We're going to add a track. We'll go to the bass line, and notice that we don't have the option for note track. So we can only use patterns with this, which is one of the reasons why I tend to not work with it, because you're kind of constrained. But so we can learn this instrument, we'll go ahead and drop one in and put something in right here at bar 25. Just make sure that we're snapping it in like so. And we'll just have that run out for 2 bars. That's how long we'll make our pattern. So if you remember from the other instruments, to make our pattern 2 bars, we're just going to go ahead and lengthen this out to 32, aka 32 16th notes. And if you imagine 16 16th notes being 1 bar, 32 is obviously 2 bars. So it's cleared out. If I go to 25 and click play, we're not going to hear anything because we haven't actually set this thing up at all. So what I'm going to do is, do we want it on the first step? Maybe not. Maybe we'll do every other. So I'll go to step 2. I'm going to turn the note on. And since this is in F minor, I'm going to go ahead and just put this in at F, and we can listen to this. Okay, so nothing too exciting as of yet. Let's go up to 4 and add another F in here. Note on. And then we'll go to 6. Note on. And then 8, maybe we'll choose C. And then what I might do is actually just then kind of go back down the scale faster. So I'll go to 9 and choose our B flat. Note on. We'll go to 10 and choose the A flat. Note on. Let's just see how this is sounding. Okay. And then I might go like bump, bump, bump at the end. So let's see if that will work. So I actually might just turn this into 16 and have that repeat, since this is actually going at a relatively slow BPM. Okay, that's kind of cool. Bum, 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 bum. And then we'll just bring this back down to 16. So I made this really fast on the fly. You'd obviously spend a lot more time thinking about this. Okay, I probably wouldn't be able to listen to it more than that many times in a row, but we can get in here and we can actually start to maybe get a bit of a different sound on here. and I'll show you the different settings for that. If you're used to working with the other synthesizers and stuff we did in Soundation, this is going to be nothing new to you, and really I don't really even have to go over it other than just seeing where everything is located, which is mostly here at the top. So I can choose a different waveform, and we can actually loop this region around. Let me just get into it. Loop selection. Try with shuffle on. It might work. Yeah, I kind of like the slide at the end there. Let's see what we want to do here. Yeah, we'll drive that. Get some envelope going on the filter. Okay, so I'm actually pretty happy with that. We'll adjust how far we want that envelope to go when we listen to this back in context with everything else. Just go ahead and unsolo that. Yeah, now that I listen to it, I don't think it sounds very good. So maybe one thing that will help this sound, it doesn't really seem to fit really with what we're working on. I think the pattern's maybe a little too fast, but maybe if I add a little bit of like reverb and delay, this will help. Now, one thing I've already set up with this mini mixer is a send and return configuration to a reverb, and I actually do have the reverse crash already being fed into that. So what this means is you could take any of these input tracks and feed it into the reverb, and it's going to have the same effect. It will get these parameters. What this means is it saves you having to add individual reverbs again and again and again if there's one particular reverb sound that you like. So I'll go in here and I'll just start feeding this in. Maybe it's a little bit. Yeah, I just really do not like the sound that I'm getting out of this. It's not really something I'd probably use. So I'm going to have to do some effects processing to get this to be a little more usable up to my taste. So I'll probably pause the video and come back with something hopefully a little bit better. After tweaking around for a while, this is what I was able to come up with. A lot of this is just experimentation, and a lot of it's experience in terms of what I want to use in this chain to get it to hopefully sound better. I've added some automation as well to just how far the frequency cutoff is going to move with the envelope modulation. So as it goes up, what it means is I'm opening this up more. As it goes down, it means I'm not letting this move as much. So we can take a listen to what I got. And in fact, what I'm going to do is also fade this in. And now you could either use a filter to do a fade in, but I'll just go ahead and do it the old school way and just use the actual meter itself to do it. So I'll create the automation from here, pull this on up, do the same stuff we always do here, and hopefully be able to get this into view nice. So we'll just fade it up over this amount of time. And you can read how far down it's going. So you have to pull it pretty far to actually get it to do something significant. So about 19 dB should be good. Assuming it's going to play back. Did I solo something? No, everything should be in working order. All right, so there you go. Another one of those situations where that time I don't think it was me. It just stopped playing back signal altogether, but a quick little reopen and we are back in business.